Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, the saga of someone effed up and the trucker pays for it continues with a new story that really blew my mind. For sure, this type of story is going to make you even more paranoid about who the broker you're working with actually is, and hopefully will make you quadruple check everything before you actually agree to haul a load. So let's talk about it. Ready? Let's go! Now, double brokering is something we're warned about in this industry time and time again. But most of the time, it revolves around the fact that if you accidentally haul for a double broker, you might not get paid. But man, it is so much scarier than that. Overdrive's Todd Dills, the chief editor of the magazine, just yesterday released a podcast describing a case that is still ongoing with no resolution. Now, he heard about this case in the late summer of 2024, where an owner-operator was arrested for obtaining property by false pretenses in excess of $100,000. Now, before I tell you about this case, I want to note that Todd doesn't really specify whether this is exactly what happened or whether he is using an example scenario to mirror a real case. You will understand in a moment, so let's go through it. So an owner-operator goes ahead and books a load with what seems to be a legitimate broker. It is a load of copper moving from the southeast to the northeast. The owner-operator picks up the load, delivers it without any issues, gets paid, and moves on with his life. Then this same exact load is being brokered by the same exact broker, but now this load has to move from the northeast towards the center of the country. So another owner-operator books this load and moves this load from the northeast to the center of the US. He delivers it without any issues, gets paid, and that's the end of it. And then this same broker again brokers this load for a third time, but now moving from the center of the US to Los Angeles. Now, a third owner-operator picks this load up and starts moving towards the destination when he starts getting a little bit suspicious. When he looks at the delivery address, he realizes that it's not going to like a manufacturer, it's going to what seems to be like a salvage yard. Now, I don't know how this third owner-operator's intuition worked, but it did. He got a bad feeling, he got suspicious, so he got the cops involved. Law enforcement looks into the situation, identifies the load, traces it back to its origin, which was the southeast, and a detective finally IDs the first owner-operator who moved this load the first time from the southeast to the northeast and proceeds to arrest him. This owner-operator ends up in jail for several days before being bonded out for $50,000. So now back to what I said before. Todd doesn't specify whether this situation that he described is exactly what happened or whether it is an example of a situation that mirrors a real case, because he says, and I quote, "When I first heard about a particular case fitting these parameters back late last summer, the arrest had just happened with a September court date scheduled, which was then pushed to October. None of those court dates held for the owner, and still there's been no resolution as efforts to untangle the scheme continue. Two other operators were similarly caught up in it and at least initially charged as well, according to a source familiar with the proceedings." Now, obviously, I tried to dig and find at least something about this particular case, but unfortunately I came up empty. So a request for you guys, if anyone is able to find any information for this particular case, I would be so curious to see it. But yeah, now back to the video. This type of cargo theft is what is called strategic theft, where you will often find, and I quote Overdrive here, multiple layers of deception and misrepresentation involved to use entirely legitimate, unwitting operations to steal hot commodities. So word of caution is obviously be very careful who you're working with, because if you end up tangled in this kind of situation or something similar, not being paid is the least of your problems. Now, speaking of strategic theft, which is different from regular theft, right? Regular theft is when someone comes and just steals the cargo off your trailer or steals the truck and trailer. Strategic theft involves deception and trickery. This type of theft has increased 1,455% over the last 2 years, and it started rapidly increasing in Q3 of 2022. And the worst part, according to the director of claims at Travelers Insurance, you as the truck driver are liable for the cargo if you accept it in good condition, and you can be on the hook for loss if that cargo does not make it to its destination. The only defense that is available to you is that if you didn't know that you are accepting stolen cargo. And this is where the shipping paperwork is super important. So this director of claims states, and I quote, "Drivers will often ignore discrepancies between bills of lading and load or rate confirmation paperwork. And if you overlook these kinds of red flags, then you could be out of luck trying to defend yourself. Any obvious discrepancy will be considered to put the trucker on notice that cargo was stolen." So basically, if you have a bill of lading that doesn't fully match the rate confirmation and you just fail to notice, yeah, you might be in trouble. So folks, be very, very careful. Know who you are working with. And again, if anyone finds any details pertaining to this double brokering crazy case where the owner operator was held liable for the stolen cargo, please let me know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining and watching today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.